Welcome to My Hometown, the program that explores clubs, organizations, businesses, and issues across Nassau and Suffolk counties and sheds light on the different towns that are making a difference.
Hello and welcome to My Hometown. I'm Bill Horan, along with my co-host, Nassau Community College student, Stacy Raine.
Today you're going to learn about a nonprofit organization here in Nassau County that is committed to making a difference in the lives of children and families affected by pediatric cancers.
Our guest today is Donna DeSousa-Schmidt. She's the founder of Maggie's Mission, named after her daughter who passed away after fighting cancer shortly after her 17th birthday. Donna, welcome to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Donna, before we start, let me just say both Stacy and myself, we're both very sorry for your loss, but we admire what you're doing through this mission. So you fill us in today, and we're all going to learn a lot about it. So tell us first about Maggie.
So actually, Maggie was 16 when she got sick.
16? Okay.
Yeah. Maggie was a really beautiful, young, vivacious, young girl. Of course, she's my daughter. I'm going to say that, right? But she really was. She was full of life. She loved everything life had to offer. She was always moving. She was into everything. Cheerleading. She was into dance. She was a tough cookie.
It sounds like a true 16-year-old.
Yeah, she was. She was very independent. So she got sick August 10th of 2016 that she first complained of pain.
And then how did the process go? Was it a long period or?
It was actually very short, her illness, and it was misdiagnosed at first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so by the time she was first sick in August and they didn't diagnose it, almost 3 months worth of going back and forth to emergency rooms and doctors and surgeries, and before they diagnosed her with, it was called malignant rhabdoid tumors. It's very rare pediatric cancer.
That is really, really a tough thing to go through. And I can tell by the way you light up when you talk about Maggie that she was truly a wonderful, wonderful young woman. So I would love to just hear more about her and then how Maggie's mission began.
Yeah, like I said, Maggie just loved life, but in particular, she loved children. And when she was treated at Memorial Sloan Kettering in the city, despite the hospital that diagnosed her telling us that she had stage 4 cancer and that there was really nothing they could do. But Maggie was 16 and we felt like, we had to try to save her. So we took her to MSK and, where she received chemo treatments and had surgeries to try and beat this cancer. But she was treated as a pediatric cancer patient at 16, and she witnessed a lot of suffering of young children on the 9th floor of Memorial Sloan Kettering. And before Maggie passed away, she asked us to help save children.
This was her request? I didn't know that.
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. She witnessed, and we witnessed a lot of suffering, while she was in treatment for the short time that she was. And so her love of children and was a kind of, and her request was our inspiration.
Wow.
Boy, you got directions right from the main person who says help children.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously now you're committed.
That's
you're
right.
into it. Wow, I didn't know that part of the story. It's usually the parent later or someone comes up with an idea to do maybe a fundraiser or something.
Yeah.
But this was right from your daughter herself.
It was.
So that's some legacy. Now, is it, when you say help children, is that younger children, older children, or where does that fit in?
Pediatrics specifically, but, we've helped 18, 19-year-olds in like we sent an 18-year-old boy who had cancer in the Carolinas down to Florida to swim with dolphins. We paid for his family to have like a Make-A-Wish trip. Because when you turn 18, you don't qualify for Make-A-Wish. So as far as we're concerned, that's still, a child,
So tell me more about, what you guys do, what Maggie's mission does. You mentioned you sent somebody on a trip. So is that generally what you focus on? Or I would love to hear the whole.
We kind of do like a few things. Number one, when Maggie was in treatment, at MSK, we were told by one of her oncologists that less than 4% of the federal spending for research into cures for pediatric cancers received very little funding. So that came as a huge shock to us that children's cancers are not targeted more for, funding to find cures because obviously being in the world that we are now in, We see far too many kids getting sick with various different types of cancers, and it's just mind-boggling to think that there's not enough money going towards research. So Maggie's Mission funds research at MSK using Maggie's actual tumors, as well as other children who are diagnosed with this rare type of cancer.
Did they say, I'm just wondering because I'm kind of shocked at that. I would think a children's market, being the younger and having a whole life ahead of them, would be an area where funding would go as opposed to older people. So is there a reason why so little goes into that?
No, I'm not really sure why. I'm sure there's some rationale for it, but maybe because they think that children getting cancer is rare, whereas you have breast cancer and prostate cancer, things like that. Yeah. Okay.
I guess they have to allocate resources, and that would make a rational reason why, because I'm sure they obviously got good people doing all this, et cetera, and with the right intentions.
Yeah. Rare cancers in general receive a lot less funding. So it's not just in pediatrics, but across the board.
Now, tell us about some type of events that you run. What do you do to raise money to help cancer?
When we started Maggie's Mission, we kind of went back to things that Maggie loved herself. We tried to center it around things that she would like to do. So one of our first ideas was selling s'more kits, because she loved bonfires and s'mores. And we actually just started this S'mores for More fundraising initiative where we made custom s'more kits, and everything's in the shape of a heart except for the marshmallow. And we say we're the only s'more with heart. And we're trying to get those to market into stores. You could actually go to s'moresformore.org to learn about that, or even maggiesmission.org. There's a link to that. And they're really, really cute s'more kits.
I was going to say, that is cute. That's something, it's great for branding, because as you get into it, you start to talk about it to people. And I'm sure someone else says, look, if I'm going to buy them anyway, I would rather have
it go to a cause.
Go to a good cause.
Right.
And they're probably very good to eat and fun, except that
they're
I would
delicious.
Gain weight. But
I gain weight with all the testing. For sure.
That's the great part of
they're
your
delicious.
Job, right? You have to test them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I had to taste test the
Stacy's
cookies.
too thin. She doesn't have to worry about that.
I taste
She might need a s'more kit or two.
I use that at home every night. I have to test this. I have to test that. I have to test something else. And of course, people have eaten them for years.
Yeah, they're actually graham cookies, so they're not graham crackers. So they're thick, and they're each kit makes 6, and it's like a meal. One s'more, it's like a meal.
That sounds
but
amazing.
It's really cute.
That sounds amazing.
Our station director here, Sean Novat, is a cookie expert. And I think, you may
brought
want to talk to him later on, because if you can win him over, you'll have an annuity for the next 30 years.
Yeah, I should have brought some kits.
There you go.
Well, so we thought about doing that with bonfire, roasts. So that's something that we're developing. And then we also host a gala that's called an Angelversary Gala. Maggie died on June 1st of 2017, just a couple of months after her 17th birthday. So from the time she first got sick to her passing was less than 10 months.
And I see you have a really cute hat with Maggie's Mission on it. Is that part of the fundraising?
It's part of the fundraising.
Who designed that?
I did.
I thought so.
I love
That's
it.
why I got that in there.
Tell me about the logo.
Well, I'm a graphic designer, so
okay.
I used to volunteer my services for a lot of nonprofits before becoming, the president of Maggie's Mission.
Yeah.
And I designed the branding for it, and we sell what we call Maggie gear. You can find it on our website.
Oh, that's cute. Maggie gear?
Maggie gear.
What would be an example of Maggie
just
gear?
T-shirts, hats, patches, a lot of different things.
And tell us the website. We might as well get it.
Maggiesmission.org.
Maggiesmission.org.
Correct.
And we'll try to get that in before the end of the show if someone wants to write it down.
Yeah.
And get some of that lovely gear.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I appreciate it.
You said, we were talking about pediatric cancers. They're rare, but I'm a mom of 3. They're every parent's worst nightmare. So they might be rare, but they're devastating to families. But you guys sounds like you're doing so much to really make a difference. So how much, what's your fundraising like right now? How much money have you raised? What, we talked a little bit about where the money goes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that part.
Yeah, we've, I don't have an actual number for you, but I know we've raised over $2 million since starting our foundation 6 years ago in September of 2017. So we started within 4 months of Maggie's passing. We were a 501c3.
Did you see my mouth fall open when she said that? I mean,
Yeah.
I would have thought
Totally.
you'd be doing very, very well if you said 55,000 or 60
Yeah.
or anything up to. You said 2 million.
Over 2 million, yeah.
Over 2 million.
We've
a lot.
qualified for some grants we've received that have gone towards research at MSK, and also, just through our fundraising events.
Who does? Are you the one who does all the grant writing or requesting or?
Yeah, I mean, that's another arm of our organization is spreading awareness about pediatric cancers and, trying to help parents know the symptoms. And also, I always say, to trust your instinct as a parent. If there's something wrong with your child, don't let doctors sort of dictate, a final diagnosis if you feel there's something more going on. So part of all this is raising awareness of the fact that it can happen and does happen to children.
You are doing so much to really make a difference in something that impacted your family and your life so much. So you are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Stacy Raine, here with Bill Horan, and today our guest is Donna DeSousa-Schmidt, the founder of Maggie's Mission, named after her daughter who passed away fighting cancer shortly after her 17th birthday. Maggie's Mission exists to make a difference in the lives of children and families affected by pediatric cancer.
Donna, again, I'm still astounded by those numbers. $2 million, you said,
Yeah.
right? You can see that. It keeps coming back because that, to me, is a huge number for something. And I think you're relatively small in size. You do most of the work yourself, right?
Well, we do. We have a board, thankfully, so they've come on and helped us a lot with the Anniversary Gala in June. We hold it around the time that Maggie passed, and everybody wears white. Last year, we held it at the Vanderbilt. That was pretty cool. Yeah, so we do have help. We have a lot of community support and some corporations that we've partnered with.
Tell us, first of all, some of the challenges you find that, you come through as the, what would you call yourself, the founder and
co-founder.
President, co-founder. And maybe there's a business out there that you're looking for, an accounting firm, a law firm, a medical firm, that could be of help donating some time or services, and it could be a win-win, a partnership. So take us behind the scenes a little bit.
We've actually been very fortunate to have an accounting firm, that helps us with, our taxes and things like that. Recently, we were excited to partner with TJ Maxx we had a run last Saturday after Ophelia got out of the way and wrecked our course, actually. It was at Sunken Meadow State Park. And we had TJ Maxx came out, they also provided a $10,000 grant to us, which we were really happy about. And that was slated for local pediatric cancer families to help them financially with bills and such.
First of all, hats off to TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
I mean, many
They're
businesses, they're businesses. They're out there to make money. That's their job, etc. But to do things for the community, I think they deserve praise. And let's give the accounting firm a shout out. Who is that?
Actually, I don't even know. I know they work for my family's business, and I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I should.
Okay, sorry,
yeah, they're
I didn't mean to
great.
put you on the spot, but
and we also had Millbank in the city helped us become a nonprofit.
Okay.
And that was really because it's not an easy task to do, and so we did it within 4 months of her passing.
Wow.
And so they just sort of stepped up and helped us become who we are today. So,
are there any other unique challenges most people wouldn't even think of? And you said, we'll raise money, we'll do this. And someone said, wait, before you do that, you have to do this or fill out these forms or, there's always some little lump in the pudding.
I think the biggest challenge, for fundraising is hard because, there's a lot of people vying for the same, funding. So putting on events is hard because it takes a lot of time and effort to organize the events. And so I find sometimes it's a little bit hard to get people to step up and take the reins to organize. But that hasn't happened with our Anniversary Gala recently. We have some really great local women who have joined us and are powerhouses when it comes to getting really great raffles for our event and silent auction items. So shout out to them for stepping up to the plate because they have young children and young families. So it's not easy. And it's running a nonprofit from day to day is social media, outreach. It's a lot of work. You always want to make sure that you're out there in the public eye so that you don't sort of, get forgotten about. So social media is a big challenge, keeping up with that.
Yeah. I keep thinking about how Maggie asked you to to do something. And then within 4 months, you had a nonprofit set up. I mean, that just really speaks to your love for her. And it really moves me. And I understand that you found something that Maggie wrote to you right before she passed. Was it a bucket list? What was it? Can you tell me about it?
Yeah. It was actually, we found it in a notebook in her room after she passed away. It was a bucket list of things she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And over the past, 6 years, my husband and I have been crossing off some of those items on the list.
Oh, I love that.
So I think she was inspired in part by my husband and I had done a lot of traveling and did some adventurous things when we were younger. Mm-hmm. And so she was inspired by that list. She had some really cool ones. One of them was to skydive. And I was supposed to skydive into our gala this past June. But I was actually at the airport with retired U.S. Army Golden Knight Mike Elliott. He's from the All Veterans Group now. He took George H.W. Bush, the late George Bush, on 3 tandem jumps.
Oh, wow.
When George was, older.
Yeah.
And we were at the airport in Farmingdale, scheduled to go, and we got there, and the pilot was crying that was supposed to take us up because there were really dark clouds rolling in and thunder and lightning in the distance. So we had all these guests at the Vanderbilt Museum in Centerport waiting for our arrival, and unfortunately my flight was, my skydive was canceled due to weather. But interesting story is Maggie loved thunderstorms, so I felt like she just didn't want me to jump,
Yeah.
And that's obviously the smart decision. Whenever there's danger,
you have to be safe.
You look back and say, wait, why did I do this? Sometime in the moment you want to do something, and then you say, how foolish of me doing it. People are hearing this, and I'm sure they're saying, I wish I could do something, and maybe they don't have a lot of resources, or maybe they do, or maybe they work in a field. Can you throw out some thoughts to people? First of all, the website, let's tell our audience what that is if people want to know more.
Yeah, it's maggiesmission.org.
So that's easy enough to remember. Mm-hmm. And suppose they want to get a cool hat or some of that Maggie's gear. Can they go to that website?
Yeah, they can buy it right online.
They can.
Yeah, we ship from the house.
And I'm sure that helps the cause.
It does. It helps spread awareness because everybody's walking around wearing Maggie gear.
And they're pretty cool looking too. I really like that.
I love that hat.
And they would know they're helping out. Mm-hmm. But are there any things? I'm going to make up things. Do you need a cook for one of your barbecues, or maybe one of your events, or a dance instructor, or something a talent that people might have and you're looking for?
Not necessarily a talent, but I'd love to get S'mores for More into stores. So if you're, a local store that wants to help us sell the s'more kits, that would be wonderful.
Oh, yes, and that's a win-win.
Yeah,
and it's going to draw people in for the store. Mm-hmm. They're doing a good cause. They're kind of helping their community service, and it's a win for you too. So store owners out there, entrepreneurs, jump on the wagon. Get, what is it?
S'mores for More.
S'mores for More.
S'mores for Cures.
I'm getting tongue-tied saying
it's okay. It is.
And I assume you guys accept donations too. So
yes.
You're a nonprofit group. So how can people donate if they feel inspired by listening to this?
They can donate directly online, or they can send a check. And it's literally, we work from our home office, so we try to keep overhead really low. We've been a volunteer organization, so they can just go to our website. Our address is there, and send a check if they like. And then I encourage people to visit the website and go to the page Meet Maggie and, read about who she was. There's pictures of her there. And maybe they'll inspire people to want to help and give.
Stacey, I always like it when the overhead is low for a charity. Sometimes the bigger the charity that we see on TV and a lot of advertising, 4 or 5 or 10% of the monies go to the charity.
True.
90% goes to administration. You said already you're doing it right from your home.
Yeah.
You're keeping overhead down as much as you can. Mm-hmm. And, of course, again, if local merchants or a professional firm wants to get involved, I'm sure there's a way you can figure out that they can help you make money. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're always looking for sponsors for our event. We actually have our, the Anniversary Gala is Friday, May 31st, 2024. At the Vanderbilt. So if anybody's, corporations out there are looking to sponsor the event, we look for presenting sponsors. Last year we had New York Community Bank was our main presenting sponsor. Mm-hmm. So this year, if anybody's interested, definitely reach out. We're in the midst of planning that now.
I think that's fantastic, and that's plenty of lead time that people have if they want to get involved or if they want their law firm or accounting firm or business to get known. This is a good way, and of course, if they're retail merchants, they can get your product in the stores. So
yeah, we'd love that.
You are listening to My Hometown on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Stacy Raine, here with Bill Horan, and today our guest is Donna DeSousa-Schmidt, the founder of Maggie's Mission, named after her daughter who passed away after fighting cancer shortly after her 17th birthday. Maggie's Mission exists to make a difference in the lives of children and families affected by pediatric cancers. Donna, how important is early detection of these cancers like what Maggie had?
It's extremely important in any cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
In any person that has cancer, it's extremely important to catch it early. And, in Maggie's case, it wasn't. I'm not sure whether or not Maggie's outcome would have been different, had she been diagnosed, let's say, around August 10th, which is when they biopsied. She had to have emergency surgery that very night that she complained of pain because she was bleeding internally. They thought it was a burst ovarian cyst, which it wasn't. It was a tumor. And so, I'll always wonder whether or not Maggie would have lived if they had caught it then rather than at the end of September.
Yeah.
And she didn't begin treatment until November.
I can imagine that's just something that you think about all the time. So what have you learned that parents should be looking for when they consider asking their doctors for certain tests, or they say my child is in pain? What should people?
Yeah, I think pain is a big one, or bruising, which is blood cancers. But I think if your child is not being themselves, and you kind of know your kid, you know what they're like. Maggie was stoic and didn't really complain much. So when she did complain, I knew there was something wrong, and I did try. You could also go to Maggie's medical journey, which is an extremely long story and narrative of what we went through. It's a timeline of events, and you'll see that we went back and forth to the doctors and different hospitals to try and figure out what was going on.
Donna, can you tell us about some success stories that you've experienced or seen in this field that might inspire our audience?
Well, one really nice thing is there was a young girl that Maggie roomed with. Her name was Gia. She had neuroblastoma, which is slightly more common than the type of cancer that Maggie had. And I know that Gia is in remission for many years now and is doing well. And Maggie and her really bonded when they actually roomed together in the pediatric ward of MSK.
Wow.
But now this is 6 or 7 years later, and she's in remission.
That's great.
So that took obviously a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there's the problem with cancer in general is that chemotherapy treatments, and that's what we're funding research into, finding better cures and gentler treatment options, because chemo quite often creates secondary cancers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never knew that, so that you're already educating us and telling us about it.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a lot of success stories, too. I mean, on the positive side, if the people can get there at the right time.
Yeah. If it's caught early, you can isolate it and remove, let's say it's a tumor, you can remove the tumor and keep it, isolated so that the cells aren't able to spread, and divide.
And I have to think and hope someone is hearing this today and saying, maybe I should go to the doctor with this little problem, or my daughter had this problem, and just to bring it to the forefront. And it's never going to hurt going to the doctor. If it's a sniffle or a cold, so what? You still went to the doctor.
Yeah.
But if it's something far more important, the earlier the diagnosis, it can only help. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's also other symptoms too, is bone pain. If a child is complaining of pain in their leg or a joint, things like that.
Yeah, good things to look out for. So I'm sure there's been success stories and testimonials from people that were helped directly from Maggie's Mission, just really carrying out her wish. Do you want to share some of those with us?
Well, we were able, like I said, to send that one boy to go swim with dolphins, which Maggie actually got to do. Our family was very helpful to us when Maggie was sick and in treatment. And she got sick before the pandemic, which, I can't even imagine what that must have been like for families going through treatment, during the pandemic. It
Really,
it
truly.
must have been really, really difficult. But she got to swim with dolphins while she was sick, so it was really nice to send this young boy and his family down to Florida to swim with dolphins, as well as a strong connection back to Maggie too. Mm-hmm. There's been so many families that I'm not remembering specifically.
That's a good problem. We love that
Yeah.
problem. There should be, not that we want more, but the more you can help, the better it is. And the mere fact that you don't remember that, that's a good problem if there's numbers. Are there any educational initiatives that's going on that to warn people about this, maybe through the schools or somehow alerting them?
There really aren't. There's actually there's another organization in England, and I've actually wanted to model some of our awareness programs after theirs, because they have booklets and videos out on knowing the early signs of cancer, in children. And it was something that I'd like to do. But, running a foundation and putting on all the events that we do, and not to mention we also help, we feed Ronald McDonald House, the family staying at Ronald McDonald House in the city, monthly meals. And before the pandemic, it was 4 quarterly meals a year. Now we feed monthly meals there. So I'm sorry, I kind of forgot what you were saying, but
no, but that's great
the
that
thread.
you can do that and spread it out to the people, and in any way, obviously, that it helps somebody who's going through this. It's got to be helpful, and just knowing that people like yourself are out there doing this, even more so.
Right. So you mentioned that TJ Maxx was collaborating with you recently. What are some? How can other businesses and corporations get involved?
Like I said, I think sponsorship opportunities during our events would be huge. And if anybody offers grants for local nonprofits too, it was really nice that TJ Maxx reached out to us.
Yeah.
We didn't actually go to them, and they found us, and we've helped a lot of local families. When Maggie after she passed away, it was quite alarming, because in our own community we live in Greenlawn, there was like 5 other children diagnosed around the same time. And so we
With
were
the same thing?
No, different
okay.
different types of cancers. But we were able to help those families immediately. So that was really nice. And so the local grants are nice, because then we could help local families.
Donna, before we wrap up, I'm sure someone hearing this says they want to know more or they'd like to get involved. So give us any contact information, the website, etc.
Yeah, it's maggiesmission.org is our website.
Easy enough to remember, and the hats are really cool. So, look for the gear department and get yourself one of those hats. Donna, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And to our audience, I'd like you to know our guest today has been Donna DeSousa-Schmidt. She is the founder of Maggie's Mission. And we want to thank her for being with us. And hopefully she's been an inspiration to many of us to get out there and help this cause in any way we can. Thanks again.
Thank you both.
I'm Bill Horan with Stacy Raine, my co-host. We want to thank you for listening to this week's edition of My Hometown.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to WHPC@ncc.edu. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.